I just experiment with
Yeah,
the table
it's possible
where
to
the swings are.
exactly. You could just
Yeah.
do it like that for sure. Okay, cool. So I'm going to just show you some things that I really like, and just hang out here while I'm demoing, and then I'm going to allow you to just get in the swing and play. And I want to see what your body comes up with, like you just did naturally, and it'll just happen. And then I'm going to do some hands-on, and then we're going to go through just kind of the series and the basics of what we'll do in the training. And no pressure. See if you like it. If you want to just do things on your own, that's great. But it is nice to kind of like get the full scope of it. You could just get in the swing and make some things up, of course, at this rate. But I think when we have the fluid dynamic, spiral energetic approach of supported suspension, you'll really get like how this is evolving the way we're approaching the body. So I'm going to get in and just start with the heart. Sometimes I'll start at the feet or I'll start at the head. But for me, when I get into the swing, just like you did, it's so intuitive to hang out with all of the fabric behind the heart. And I just start swaying and playing it. So that's really the first movement that I like to work with, is the sway. And now I can have straight legs where the sway is just upper body and focus with the chillaxin arms, the space behind the heart. But I usually like to do bent knees so I can get into these bigger dynamic twists that kind of just birth themselves through the invitation of play. It just feels amazing. And just kind of holding and pausing at the edges. I can kind of push in and lean back more and work in the air, or I can be really comfortable and on the table the whole time. So sometimes my clients are, are just like this, and I let them be extremely passive, and I'll just come in with some body work and some hands-on, or they'll be really active, and then I'm working with them. So it's like a whole dance and a whole play. But just even doing this with obviously there's so much we can do in the swing, but we don't get into these big dynamic spiral twists that I just love, and how it's like just moving the energy through the body. So that's the first thing I like to do. And then I usually just come into a back bend from there. And I just love having this little nape where the head and neck can sit. And I can do the same thing here where it's straight legs. Or if I want to do a little bit more, I'll get into bent knees and start working my way down the spine. And then I can come up and do this tractioning up and down the spine, which I really love, where I'm using the fabric to kind of massage out the back and do a few rounds of undulations like that. This is just kind of what I do every day in terms of bringing out my own body. And it really is amazing because it does feel like, we can do this in the swing while it's just in the air, but when it's on the table, I'm really digging in and holding some points in a way that just, and like your table, I have like a big futon mat on there, so it's super duper comfy and allows me to go like a little bit deeper into the body and hold. And then I like to go into inversions. Inversions are kind of my favorite. So from there, I'll usually wrap around, and I like hanging off the edge of the table. So when I'm working with the edge of the table, I also like to incorporate some twists, which I'm calling corkscrew, where I can really play with like pulsing or hanging out here, letting my head hang off or roll around on that edge, even digging into the subscap. So the corkscrew is kind of like some of my favorite stuff. I'll even love like one leg to come off and around. And it's just amazing. Like this is stuff that we don't even really get into when we're in the air. I'm sure we could, but there's just so much play that can happen here. And then Baddha Konasana. And when I'm working with people, I tend to come in and do a lot of stretching and hands-on. And then we can even come into like a version of plow. And I really love like all of this with the head supported and the squeeze just feels amazing.
Yeah.
And then the one leg rotations, again, this is like the big spirals where I'm really letting people come out to the side and around and getting that full mobility within the hip joint, and then working with like the internal and external spirals. And that can be with straight leg or bent knee or even bringing it out to the side. And then working with stretching the quad as well. So this is kind of like what I call half lotus when on the table. And even working on the other side too. So using the table to kind of like push and pull and twist in the space is my favorite.
Whoa.
Yeah. So other leg, come around. I know this will be very intuitive for you, but this is the kind of stuff that I think that you would really like and get into. That's a little bit more advanced. So this is what we'll do on day 2. Because this is going to be too much for the average person who's coming in with like an injury. They're like, what do you mean corkscrew, spiral, twist off the side of the table? It's like, nah, you know. So this almost looks like dancer pose, right? When we're doing a bow off the side, which I just love. And you have so much movement, so much harmonic movement just to balance it out on this side where it can get in and I just lift up and it can come around, you know. And of course I have 2 sets of handholds on here to play in the space. And even switch here, come into a twist. This is one of my favorites. So yeah, I'll just do the other side and then I'm going to let you hop in and see what emerges, and then I'll show you the more basic version that we're going to do.
I love starting advanced.
Oh, yeah, I know, we're going backwards, of course, because then I created a whole like forward fold sequence that hopefully it doesn't be like shorts too much. Sorry, camera. I know. Or you're welcome, whichever way.
It's not a skirt.
Yeah, it is actually pants, which is nice. Yeah, I even like just hanging off the table. It's just amazing, and getting into some of these positions where you could just dig into the QL. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible. So whenever I've just been enjoying like, okay, let me get into the swing and see what it wants, see what my body wants. And then of course all of the work with the neck, like while on the table, because you know, as a body worker, just getting the tractioning and the neck here, both self-massage, because of course half of what we're doing in the training is learning how to do all this on ourselves, but then the other half is like how to work with people and get even deeper into all the connective tissue and fascia. It just feels like ridiculously amazing, you know? Yeah. So it's like supported behind the heart and working this way. We're coming up and having everything around the neck and head, and then just this pushing and pulling in space to get even deeper. It's just incredible what we're capable of, not only for our own self-care and body evolution, but how we're able to help others. Like, can't even get into the body this way, you know, with anything else while on the table. It's just so incredible. So yeah, so that was the very fast expedited version. But why don't you just play and get in? And then we're still just kind of doing our experimental mode, but we will actually go over the more basic stuff that we would cover in the training. This is just because I know you're advanced player already, so you can just kind of go for it and see what it feels like, you know? Enjoy the experience of the swing. The swing communicates. I'm sure you got this by now, right? Like, what does the swing want to share with you or tell you that? I just get in and listen. Listen to my body, but also listen to what this vehicle for transformation wants to offer. Beautiful. I'm going to bookmark this so we can have a video just for you, so you can kind of